All right, this is what we deserve.
This is the absolute minimum we deserve. This is the minimum that the drifters deserve. And I tell you what, Queensland is buzzing right now. The Winter Carnival's well and truly in full swing now. Origin's just around the corner. And I was saying to you, this looks like one of the best race cards of 2024. Full stop.
I would 100% agree with that. There is class from top to bloody bottom, and I cannot wait. And I reckon one of the highlights for me isn't even a Group 1 this weekend, the Fred Best.
Fred Best is stacked with chances. Stacked with chances. Both of us are keen on one at huge odds, and you'll have to listen to the podcast to find out who that is. And I reckon that race is a prime candidate for a Ned's same race multi. What do you reckon?
Oh, God, yeah. 100%. Could even put that horse in a little multi with what some are saying the better the Carnival in the last, but you'll have to wait and listen.
Jeez, that's a two-leg multi that'll pay absolutely anything. And I'll tell you what, you'll be glad you'll be doing it with the good people at Ned's, because I tell you what, you can do absolutely anything on that app. And look, if you don't want to listen to the podcast because you're an absolute loser, that's fine, because you can just follow our profiles on the Ned's app and you can follow our bets. So, you know, when it gets to Saturday, open up your Ned's app, check out what we're betting on, and follow us in if you want, responsibly, of course.
Of course. But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, drifters.
Mr. Brightside fends them off and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a leg.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Tell you what, Eagle Farm came and Eagle Farm delivered, mate.
Yeah, it was a terrific day of racing. Started off really well for the two of us, but if you look at the quaddie legs and the results in them yesterday, drifters, there were some roughies that got up. But like, I feel like they weren't roughies where you're like, how did that thing win?
Yeah.
It was because there was a lot of depth in each of the fields. You were getting a decent price about a lot of things on the day. Yeah, it was terrific. Terrific that the rain stayed away for most of it as well.
Yeah, only really came for the last. And, you know, all the good, well, still a quality contest, the Helen Coghlan, but
yeah.
But the Group 1's, crikey, some discussion points to, I guess,
dissect.
Yes.
Well, I guess start off with the Kingsford Smith and that race. I wish I win, you know, in hindsight. It's a bit of a stupid price, wasn't it?
You could say that, but also his first win in about 70 weeks.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Ish.
They're just we sort of looked at the race on paper in the preview, and there just didn't look to be a lot of pace, and that ended up that way. Yeah, it turned out that way, particularly with Tuvalu coming out of the race. So it just, you know, it just didn't suit some of the ponies, but I wish I win's dynamic enough to run well in a slowly run race or like he can sit and sprint, but then if it's a truly run race, he's got the engine too to come over the top of him. So he's just a superior athlete.
Oh, I don't think you can discount Luke Nolan, Tash Nolan. You know, the way he gets on with that horse as well.
Flavor saver Nolan. Honestly. It's just funny, isn't it, the racing game? Like, you know, you get Luke Nolan back on and lo and behold, he rides him absolutely perfectly and gets a Group 1 win, only his second. He's obviously won a Golden Eagle and an Everest as well, so he's effectively a 4-time Group 1 winner in my eyes.
He hasn't won an Everest.
Oh, sorry.
Second in Everest.
Sorry, he's won the Golden Eagle. So it's effectively like 3 Group 1s. But yeah, out of that race, obviously Bella Nipotina is as honest as the day is long.
Bulldog.
Oh, she's a
gelding in a mare's like attire.
I think that was her 50th race start. Bella Nipotina.
Yeah, and I'll have a look how many starts of those have been a Group 1 level, but I'd say it'd be close to 15 to 20.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily.
Bella Nips. Yeah, that would have been her 21st start at Group 1 level. She's had 4 starts at Group 2 level and 9 starts at Group 3 level, 6 starts at listed. So you're talking 35 to 40 starts at black type. Imagine that as an owner.
Oh, like the dream.
Absolute dream. 7.9 million in prize money prior to the race. She runs second. I think she would collect another 100. Yeah, 180,000 there. So that probably ticks her over to 8. She's the beneficiary of the current times, but
yeah,
like with all due respect, a non-winner, like you get your money's worth with her because every single time she goes around, pretty much she's $7 to $8.
Definitely, and you know that she can keep performing deep into a prep. Man, she was in the TJ. She went over to WA in the Quokka.
She was in Melbourne.
She was in Melbourne as well. Like she just must be such a sound mare, like anatomically. Yeah. And if she was going through the Magic Millions ring tomorrow, I'm sure Yulong would snap her up for 5 at least.
Yeah,
she's worth that.
Yeah,
because she just
what's
keeps
her
performing.
She's a Pride of Dubai mare out of a Bella Orfana, so out of Star Witness.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So some good bloodlines there.
Yeah, well, Pride of Dubai, I don't know what his stallion fee is, but it'd probably be going up, you would imagine. He's a Coolmore stallion, so cause he's obviously got Pride of Jenny as well, so he's having his time in the sun.
Adam Annetz asks, did I Wish I Win just quiet some of the haters that were saying he's forgotten how to win? Probably.
Yeah.
Like to an extent, but it's probably his only like 4th or 5th run since he's won. So it's like not non-winner territory. It's just he goes unders, I feel, from like a SP profile perspective.
Yeah, we're talking about the profile. What was that? His 21st ever start?
Yeah, which surprised me to a little bit of an extent because we've probably seen him for this is 3rd season, I'd say. Maybe 2nd, 2.5.
Was that his 7th win?
That was his, 7th win.
So he's got a 33% strike rate, which for any racehorse you'd love to have. I think the difference is with I Wish I Win is the price that you're going to get about him each time he goes around, and also the fact that he's spoken as if he's a I don't know, Animo-esque, but doesn't have that winning strike rate.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Like you're taking $4.20 for him first up on a heavy 8 in a TJ, like against like our best sprinters, that's what you're being asked to do. But the market yesterday, before we get to that, nose roll off first time for I Wish I Win. Salutes. Nose roll off first time for Roll On High.
Rolls off for Roll On High. Yeah, you said yesterday that, Kat Coleman might just be having a word to Peter and just saying, mates, come on, police. Do we really need to be persevering with these bloody big paint rollers on the front? Fucking hell. Not paint houses.
Hey, Kath put her foot down.
She did.
And Moods gave in because it's definitely Moods is it's his kind of it's iconic for Moody Racing,
It is. And what's that? Their 3rd, 4th Group 1 as a training partnership together, and they've only been going since the start of the year, or maybe since the start of the spring. I can't remember, but formidable duo, and we saw I Wish I Win in the yard, and he looked outstanding, didn't he?
Well,
he's a bit of an alpha, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and there was 2 that you wanted out of the yard. Basically, it was him or Antino. Antino looked outstanding,
unbelievable.
He just looks like an imposing, just a brute of a thing, basically. But I Wish I Win's not too far behind him.
Yeah.
Like for all the chat about him being a bit of a leggy, ugly, ugly looking thing with his like crooked legs and stuff, like he's really grown into himself, like into a strong looking horse. The one who looked horrific in the yard, worst one of the day, and basically mate goes to me, like, I want to follow her all prep because she looked that bad, was in secret.
Yeah, she looks like a woolly mammoth.
Oh, it was like, I said to you prior, I'm like, wait till you see her. And you're like, oh, can't be that bad. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, woolly.
Oh,
yeah. She's a cute little mare though. Like she's a good looking mare.
Beautiful
but just,
temperament.
Yeah, but just it's so woolly. Didn't look like she was ready to race at all. But
So-
she ran a blinder.
beaten 2.5 lengths, 1,300 metres, not her go. So clearly I'm assuming they're targeting her towards a Tats Tiara, or they just put her away for the spring.
I would love to see her in a Tats Tiara. And even though your immediate thought might be, well, she's not a 1,400 metre horse at all. Well, who's she going to be racing against?
Bella Nips.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If that's the thing.
Yeah.
With some cut out of the ground, Bella Nipotina's got a mortgage on that race, I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
But Bella is a bit like Craig Williams. When she's expected to win, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She can put in a flat one probably every 3 or 4 starts, I'd say. And she's been super her last few. How
many times can you get a horse to peak? If In Secret's not the favourite in that race, she'll be second line of betting, obviously, and she's the one I'd want to take.
Yeah, you take her over Magic Time at this stage.
Yeah, she just ran so much better. And Magic Time was maybe she should have gone to the paddock.
Yes, she looked fine in the yard as well. I'm looking through these. I Wish I Win was clearly the best. Uncommon James looked good. Antino was, if not pick of the yard, with I Wish I Win, he was right there. Osipenko first up looked fine. Probably looked... His walk suggested to me that he'd appreciate getting out to further, and he was just never in the contest.
No.
First up after the gelding. Freedom Rally, super.
Super run.
Outstanding.
Super run. I hope he gets into a Stradbroke Freedom Rally because he can give that race an almighty shake with 51 kilos on his back.
Yeah. Shout out to... Where are you? Kurt Raymond. Roughie of the day was Freedom Rally, and unlucky, bro, you just missed out of the top 3.
Oh, that sucks. But no, well found. That's a great roughie. I don't know what price he was, but it was a good price. Now, there's someone who got jammed in
30s. Yeah, well, we haven't talked about them. Bella Nips looked great. In Secret, dog shit. Magic Time looked fine, and then Espiona looked fine as well. Think about it. Now, he looked good in the yard. His coat was looking proper. He was on his toes as he typically is. He's a nutcase, but that's him. We saw it. We saw it in the Queensland Winter again last year. I could not understand the market with that horse. Unbelievable. He was about $7 or $8 on Wednesday. He started $3.80 equal favourite with I Wish I Win. I couldn't believe what we were seeing.
I couldn't believe that go. I could not believe that go. You don't, and we might sound like smarties after the fact, but
when we come on and have 2 podcasts a week and we say there's no possible way you could be betting on this horse, we left him out of our top 4.
Yeah. So we were right, but you can't train a horse to be targeted towards a Doncaster mile as the top weight, might I add, and then just expect that the horse being brought back to 1,300 metres a few weeks later is going to all of a sudden bring him back to what he was. That's just not how it works.
With a Cox played in the back of your mind for next prep, as well. It's so that they would have all their kind of training programs just set out for the mile to 2,000 meters basically. I have no doubt if he comes out and wins the Doncaster, he goes to the Queen. He goes to the Doom Cup or something even next start. Just to test him or something. It's So your point's 100% right. You just need to see it first. So I was expecting him to even start double figures at one stage.
He had every chance. He landed exactly in the run where we thought he would from that gate. Gate 8 wasn't perfect, but for how the field shaped up, he ended up being in the perfect position, and he just got out sprinted. He got out sprinted because he doesn't have the sprint in his legs because he was trained as a miler.
Yep.
So he's a big line through him until the spring for me. If he races again, I could not possibly have him.
No.
Could not possibly have him.
No. So you asked me immediately after the race, I wish I win. Like, do you take him to a Stradbroke?
I hope so.
And then he'd start a very similar price, $4, but as the top weight, like that'd be fascinating to me.
I hope they do. I think he can win as a top weight. Yeah, he'll be short enough, but he just we haven't seen him really like third or fourth up or whatever, with 2 weeks in between runs. Like, he could improve even further out of that Kingsford Smith. So I'm not saying I'm going to be with him, but I'd love to see him as the top weight in the Stradbroke. He can certainly win.
58.5 kilos.
Yeah, he can win. Oof. Like, he won't have mine, but he can win. The two that I'm zeroing in on Tony Goldenhorse's Freedom Rally in Antino.
Yeah.
That race did not set up for Antino at all. Gate 12 goes towards the back, and ran home nicely in a pass mark in a race that appeared, at least to me, to be a bit of a sit and sprint, which, he's a horse who's going to be better out of it further. It just didn't suit him at all, but he looked great in the yard. Pass mark for me, and I think 54 kilos in the Stradbroke, he can win that race.
14th in the order of entry, he gets a start. Freedom Rally, work to do. I think that's where you were saying he goes to the race that Antino was in last year against probably the Fred Best horses as like that second option. But 51 kilos he currently has, 61st in entry. There is a lot ahead of him that won't be going there. So, but I'd say there's, probably
miss out, unfortunately.
Probably looking like he misses out.
Which is a shame, which is where these sort of, order of entries can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, because, he deserves to be in that race without a doubt. So, and it creates more interest, which is a bit of a shame, but, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the wash-up of the Kingsford Smith. It was a fantastic race on paper, and it'll be a form race. I've got no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. Now, some stats coming out of the Queensland Derby. My goodness, Warmonger. We were on track for when Zaki destroyed him in the Doomben Cup a few years ago. But this was something else from Warmonger, and he had the jockey on board to give him like a ballsy ride. But two, also, I guess, the race setup to be able to kind of just show that he is the superior stayer as well. But how's this for a stat? Official margin, 10.4 lengths, Warmonger. Like, Zaki apparently doesn't even make the top 5 since 2007. So it's like, I thought he won by like 8.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, he's not on this list. 10 lengths Royal Descent in the 2013 ATC Oaks. 9 lengths Mosheen, 2011 VRC Oaks. 8 lengths Winks, 2016 Cox Plate. 7.3 lengths Winks, 2017 George Ryder. 1,500 metres, that is. 7.3 lengths. Unbelievable.
What a freak.
So this is the biggest win since Might and Power won the Queen Elizabeth Stakes by 10.5 lengths in a Group 1.
Incredible.
Like, my guy, Navy King, I reckon he would have had the best kip in Australia.
Oh,
last
he would have.
night.
He was blowing.
He was. I reckon some of those mid-race sectionals were probably quicker than the Kingsford Smith.
Yeah,
like they were going. Like he was. Yeah, he was giving it. He
was bowling along.
He was, and to be fair, he held on okay. He finished 10th. Beaten 17 lengths. But looking at the Racing Queensland sectional data, that's where you can't believe what this horse has done, Warmonger, because he's run home. By his last 200-metre sectional is 4.5 lengths quicker than the next best in the race.
He's just showing he's a out-and-out stayer. So he's raced in the South Australian Derby, and that race from memory, Air Assault he's not a stayer at all. Like he's a miler.
Yep.
Found the lead and just put the brakes on, and Warmonger was probably out of the picture. And the same thing happened in the race before that, which is I can't remember what it's called, but it's the traditional lead up to the South Australian Derby. And he came home like a bullet both times. And I just thought the exact same thing was going to happen again here, so I gave him no chance. But as it turns out, your guy set the race up perfectly for him, Navy King, and that's what he needs. And also, you're right, Blake Shin just was like, this guy's feeling good, 3 wide, no cover, up closer. Yeah, was not expecting that. Happy that I saw it though.
Oh, it's like you witness history. Like honestly, like literally, it's like Pride of Jenny-esque. Like, and I said after the race, that has to be the win of the Queensland Carnival. Like then and there, like done.
Yeah.
Like, who did he beat? Right. That's going to be the really big question. You know, who we're a big fan of, Dean O'Sullivan. We can't wait to see what unfolds there. And one thing that he doesn't take into account in his ratings is where the horse was in the position.
Yeah.
He was 3 wide without cover the entire trip, which makes it even more impressive. And we were saying those, like, you often hear someone like Damian Lane or Jamie Carr, probably Blake Shin as well, who rode Warmonger, go, 3 wide no cover is not the worst position if the race shape is okay. Now, where Navy King was, he was probably close to 10 lengths ahead.
Yeah.
So the pack following, that's probably like the leaders, like sectional data that you want to kind of unpack, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they actually running hectic time or not? But on the surface, until we kind of like see those figures, it was unbelievable what he did. He's just clearly a superior stayer.
Clearly. I just hope it's not just a spike performance and isn't able to repeat it. He's a gelding, so... And I would imagine, you know, because there's so many connections, he's an OTI horse, like, will they just keep him here in Australia? Like, after that, you probably have to.
Well, that's the chat after the race is where all systems go for the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
So, which is great to see. We've seen the Queensland Derby hold up, like Vow and Declare ran second to Mr. Quickie. So, you know, that form does kind of stack up.
Yeah.
It was a poorly rated Melbourne Cup that year.
It was, yeah. But, you know, it's Melbourne Cup's a Melbourne Cup. Going back to the question of who did he beat, like, well, Autumn Angel ended prep, yeah, but beat Autumn Angel.
Yeah.
Tannhauser, like, you know, we weren't with him, but...
It looked a thin edition of the Queensland Derby.
It did, but I think, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who else is in the race. If you're putting a field away by 10.5 lengths, backed up with smashing the clock, it's, fascinating to see what Dan O'Sullivan rates it, because in my eyes, it's impossible to rate it poorly.
Yeah.
Like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
If he wasn't called Warmonger and if he was called Autumn Angel, you'd be saying, like, she's gonna win the Melbourne Cup. Like, who beats her?
All right. So I don't know if you've checked the markets with the good people at Ned's.
No, I have not.
Melbourne Cup market. What would you, after seeing that performance, what would you kind of expect?
Oh, look, I looked at the Melbourne Cup markets a few weeks ago, and I think it was like $14 or $15 the field, with your likes of Middle Earth right up there in the market.
Circle of Fire.
Circle of Fire, yeah. I'd expect him to be around that price now.
Hey, you're getting $26.
Yeah, right.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what other providers would be doing, but I don't think they'd be that generous, I don't think.
So what's Circle of Fire? He's favourite, I'd imagine.
Middle Earth is 15.
Middle Earth,
Circle of Fire, Solcombe, Tio Royale, Vauban, Without a Fight, 17s.
Okay. Without a Fight.
Okay. Hold on to your bloody hats, because
Forgot about that.
This is a hell of a yarn that you will tell, and our sources will remain nameless.
Nameless source, but let's just say he's appeared on this podcast before, and we'll leave it at that. Great man.
Yeah, one of the greats.
Great man. But he's able to access information that, you know, us punters would love to have. So Without a Fight, when he won the Caulfield Cup, Mark Zara was, in actuality, like, quite over the weight.
Like, significantly.
Significantly over the weight that he was listed on the form guide. Let's just say that. And then in the Melbourne Cup, the weight that Mark Zahra eventually rode him at in the Melbourne Cup was only 200 grams heavier than what Without a Fight had to carry in the Caulfield Cup. Now remember, drifters, that post-Caulfield Cup victory, bro got penalised because he won that race. He got penalised 2 kilos in the Melbourne Cup. So you're thinking...
You can do the maths there.
You're thinking, shit, he's got to go up 2 kilos. Is he going to win the Melbourne Cup, like, out of it further? Like, oh. But if you knew that he was actually going to be carrying effectively the exact same weight in the Melbourne Cup that he carried in the Caulfield Cup, chips in.
Like, and this is the other thing I was like thinking about this as well. In these elite staying races, the weights are so crucial, right?
Mm.
They say that 1 kilogram is the equivalent to 1.5 lengths, thereabouts.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
So you're saying in essence that in the Caulfield Cup, he was 3 lengths worse off.
He was effectively, Mark Zahra handicapped him an extra couple of lengths, and he still if he carried his true weight that he should have in the Caulfield Cup, Without a Fight should have won that race by 2 lengths at least. And he won it by what? Half a head.
Yep.
That is an unbelievable yarn. And that's information that punters would desperately love to know, but would miss out on all the time. It would happen every single Saturday.
Every single one, because we see it. Hot Nash, right? Like his weight, he often rides overweight, and it's like basically they go to the connection and say, "Hey mate, yep, I'm gonna ride half kilo over," and they're like, "Yep,
we still want Hot Nash.
You're hot, so
yeah.
They'll offset it to an extent." But it would happen every single Saturday, and we wouldn't be any the wiser.
Wouldn't be privy to it. That's
where the price comes into it as well. Because I was saying to you yesterday, if that knowledge was in there, Without a Fight doesn't start $8 in the Caulfield Cup. No. He starts at least $12, 50% higher.
If Mark Zahra came out and even if he said, I'm going to be a kilo over, well, he was more. But if he said, I'm actually going to be a kilo over the listed weight, 100% he'd be double figures at the very least. And then, but at the same time, if it came out after the race, actually he was nearly 2 kilos overweight.
Starts $4 in the Melbourne Cup.
Easily.
Like he starts equal favourite.
He has to. And we all saw the result. I just found that actually blew my mind. It was probably the most hectic yarn I've heard in horse racing for a very, very long time.
Like the engine on that horse.
Oh, jeez.
It's like sometimes you just got to believe what you see, right?
Mm.
And what we saw in the Queensland Carnival last year was just this horse with an absolute massive engine and turn of foot.
Well, turn of foot at the end of the Q22, 2200 metres is, yeah.
And who'd he beat? And that's where you come back to this Warmonger argument as well. It's like, who'd he beat? But it's like...
It doesn't matter.
No.
Incentivise, right, is a great example. So he won that race in Ipswich or whatever it was, and Dan O'Sullivan rated it basically being like, if he can replicate that, he wins effectively every single Caulfield Cup bar one going back to the year 2000, if he can replicate that.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, who did he beat there? But it's like, it doesn't matter who's in the field.
Yeah.
And then we saw what he did in the Caulfield Cup is probably in the top 3 most dominant wins I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And then a few weeks later, we saw probably another one, very elegant in the Melbourne Cup, one of the most dominant wins I've ever seen as well.
Yep.
But so fascinated to see. And Warmonger, we saw some, not just the win and the fact that he's a superior star, we saw some versatility.
Yeah.
And Blake Shin ain't losing the ride on that horse anytime soon.
No, he's not. And it's like, you're losing nothing with Frosty as well. It's like, that's the thing is like, Blake Shin is just on top of his game. Has to be, him and Jamie are just like, they're the best at the moment. Obviously, J-Mac. Like, that's your clear podium.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be.
If you can get any of those three, you're getting them.
Yep.
Jamie had a fantastic day yesterday, I thought.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlucky to some in the Fred Best because not her fault that horse didn't win. Schwartz just didn't get through the ground by my eye.
No, I don't think he did. And he'll never win a Group 1.
No way.
That horse. Because he's not at that standard. I would love to own him.
Absolutely.
Very good horse, got his nuts, but he's not, you know.
When you finished 13th, beating 8 lengths, and I wouldn't have thought that knocking the jockey, I don't think it was her fault.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think the horse was good enough.
Trust me, if I could have any jockey in Australia on my horse, Jamie Carr would be in the conversation.
Barry 4, thought he had every chance. Roll on high. Have you prepared a statement? We did mention that horse's name on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock, $16.
Yeah, I know. And like, you know, was I ever going to bet on her? Probably not, but she should have gone into the quadrella. She should have gone into the quadrella roll on.
Well, Warmonger knocked us out regardless. So.
Yeah, and so did Chinny Boom. We were nowhere near the mark, as it turns out. We got the favourite in the Kingsford Smith though.
We would have. I reckon we would have gone close in the early quaddie.
Yeah, we would have.
Yeah.
But yeah, rolling high. So she's going to have 49.5 kilos, I'd imagine, in a Stradbroke. So the Fred Best is, you know, ballot exempt.
Yeah. So she'll be hard to beat. But
yeah, she's another one down in the weights. Who'll be a chance. For what she showed us before this prep, like that's her. What she did yesterday. I just don't know where it's been.
Well, maybe she's a filly that just takes a while to get into her prep, right? Maybe.
But she it's not like she's been running a couple of placings. She's been poor.
Yeah, that's true. But like, what I always forget is like, she was 4th up at that amazing performance defeating Jolly Star at Flemington, right? And that was her 4th ever career start. And she was second, first there, and she ran second at a Sandown maiden, second behind Aztec State at a Bendigo maiden, and then she beat Vibrant Sun in a maiden at Pakenham, and then she went out and did that at Flemington at her 4th ever career start. And it's like, I kind of look at that, it's like, okay, hard to assess like these younger horses early on in preps and early on in their career rather, consecutively, but just goes to show to me, it's like potentially she's a mare or she's a filly that, similar to Magic Time, just takes a bit to show her best into a prep from the 2 kind of sample sizes that we've had.
Yeah. And
she can place early in those maidens because she's clearly the class, but this prep, she debuted, she was first up in a Group 1 against Tropical Squall, open weight for age against the older mares.
Yeah.
Campionessa Eternal Flame in a Group 2 at Moonee Valley, ran 4th. Like, she ran okay. And then versing the boys, 3rd up against like War Machine and those horses at Bendigo. It's like she's been kind of way up in grade, I guess, early on in her prep, and then she's just prepped up 5th, 6th up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Just takes a while to wind up into a prep.
It's like the sample size isn't really there.
No,
so it's like you're just assuming. But it's like I now know with her in the spring, like I'm probably going to give her a wide berth at her first and second up.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. And have we seen her out over a mile yet?
I don't believe so
because she's by Seamus.
That run at Moonee Valley was
okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, she's by Seamus Award, and you know Seamus Award won a Cox Plate, so yeah, interesting to see where she goes. But I think she's a smart filly, and you just her best is good enough to win a big race, I'd say. But her bottom is not great, I'd say, for rolling high.
Yeah.
But we saw some wins yesterday, mate, like broadsiding. That was an outstanding win.
Well, we do have a question here as well from Lachlan Tognella. Is broadsiding better than Stormboy? Getting close, surely, mate. His length's better than Stormboy at this stage.
Definitely.
Like, that's the champion 2-year-old. Has to be. Like, he's got an absolute mortgage on the JJ Atkins now.
Drew the widest gate in the size produce yesterday.
Arguably a better place to be.
Yep.
Sure. But
the way he won was with absolute arrogance and authority, and think, he didn't actually beat him by that many lengths. Jamie touched him twice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just to, like you said, not to invigorate him, just to straighten him up.
Yep. And it's like, so if the whips are cracking, and that's him at 1,400 metres where he's already won twice over the mile, like, yeah, this horse is like, if you look at the spring features, like this horse has to be easily the number one seed.
Number one seed for the Guineas is number one seed for a 3-year-old going into the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
And you just love to see it.
Yeah.
I love a 3-year-old colt who you know is going to get out over further.
And this is where the market is fascinating, right? So you think about it getting crunched. Happy to kind of ignore that because, like, I'm trusting my judgment there. It's like, look, I know what his prep's been like, right?
Yep.
With broadsiding, he got smashed. $2.50 he started. I'd almost prefer to take that than the $4 he was on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's the late money there because you know he's right.
Yeah. He looked great in the yard as well.
He looked great. Our query on him was the fact that we weren't expecting him to come back. So when he comes back, you're like, well, is he gonna be ready to go, or should I just wait until the JJ? Because he's clearly the best horse.
Yeah.
And that's why I kept my powder dry and just had a small bet on him in the end when he was about threes, I'd say.
Well, that JJ market, let's have a look. The JJ Atkins, let's get this international dross out of here. JJ Atkins. It's not there.
Not there.
All right.
That's interesting.
Okay. All right. Whatever. But he'd be short. He'd be very short.
Oh, he'll be $1.80 or shorter.
We were chatting about this in the wash-up. It's like, look, he won on a 1,600 metre, like in the lead up to the Champagne on a soft 5. He won then on a heavy 10, basically. The only thing where I could see him starting above like $2 in a JJ is like if it's been like close to like 25 to 30 degrees all week and it's a rock hard Eagle Farm track or like a good 3.
And we're not going to get that.
And that's the thing is like I don't think we're going to get that. I think we did get it last year, but like I don't think we're going to get that.
Well, you know, how reliable is the Bureau of Meteorology nowadays, but it looks to be a mostly sunny but cool week, you know, with a top of 21 on the Saturday, and that's effectively the sort of temps we're going to get all week. So there was a fair bit of rain around last night. I think we'll probably be starting on a good 4, like a genuine, juicy good 4 though.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a 2-week forecast here in Brisbane and it's like it's sunny, 23 degrees, what it typically is in winter here. You know, like, and the lows aren't that low. Like it's getting low, like low 14 degrees in the lead up, you know? So it's like.
Well, it's the 2nd of June, Drifters, and if you're watching on YouTube, both of us have T-shirt and shorts on. So that's Queensland for you.
Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking about broadsiding after his Champagne win, and I was like, oh, I just wonder what price he is in the Cox Plate markets. And he was something ridiculously short, like 14s or something like that. And you were like, that is so disgusting, it's so toxic, which I still agree with. But we were both like, but he does look like a Cox Plate horse though. But he does look like a 3-year-old who could go into a Cox Plate.
All right, so he's $21 in a Cox Plate now.
Is he?
Like, so that's same sort of odds as like a Royal Champion, right? So 49.5 kilos, 49 kilos, whatever it is, like, you know, going up against the likes of like Pride of Jenny, Romantic Warrior, via Sistina.
Hopefully
like,
Celestial Legend.
Celestial Legends there at $12 without a fight. You'd imagine like he'd be weighted out of those markets. So if he returns, he'd probably be on a Cox Plate path probably. Yeah, Riff Rocket. Like, it should be a great Cox Plate this year. I reckon it'll be the race of the spring.
Oh yeah, it always shapes up well, the Cox Plate.
I think we're planning to head down there, aren't we?
Potentially. Well, speaking of Cox Plate heroes, Romantic Warrior. I hope he wins in Japan this afternoon. We're recording prior to that, Drifters. Because if he wins that, and with his Hong Kong victories, it just further props up the Cox play, doesn't it?
Yep.
Which is great.
Agreed. 100% agreed. But let's do a quick look forward to the Brisbane Cup 2 mile contest, because I suggested that the connections of Warmonger, throw a late nom in. Why not? Like Group 2, test him out over the 2 mile. Doubt they'll do that, but see how good his staying pedigree is, because let's put it this way. Like, are you really going to be trusting Allegron, who was great? And he looks
That's a big price.
Mate, and one of the easiest Quinellas of all time.
Oh, jam.
You know, and I'd rather that horse out of all of those that competed the Premier's Cup heading towards that contest. But yeah, Allegron, well found by you. And his shocker was clearly the bet, and he was probably one of the biggest goes all day.
He was a massive go. He's a shocker. And who was on the back of him?
Jamie Carr.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, so Allegron just looks like a dour stayer. And is he a dour stayer who's going to win in Group 2 over 3,200 metres? Maybe.
I think the price is gone for him though.
Yeah,
like
that's the thing.
He's going to start $5.
Yeah, and you don't want him there.
No, and it's like he's got a little bit of the Salinos about him, Allegron.
Yeah,
and with all due respect to Sneesby Racing and Salino, who's been an old warhorse, he wasn't looking his best yesterday.
You couldn't blow out a candle though on the way back. It looks like he didn't even go around.
That's it. And so it's like, you know, I'm sure he'll run top 5 again in the Brisbane Cup, but like
he doesn't know how to run a bad race as it gets to 2. As soon as it gets to 2 miles.
He's just he's not like a smooth mover like Kovalica was ahead of the Queensland Derby, you know, last year. Like he was almost
an awkward thing.
Like his action's awkward. He's just all over the shop, but hey, he's
got a big ticker.
He's a Group 1 winner.
Group 2 winner.
Group 2 winner.
I think he's what's his prize money? Like 2 mil or something like that?
Something like that.
Which is
yeah.
Fantastic.
Last year in the Lord Mayor's Cup, we saw without a fight absolutely Brainham over 1,800 metres. This year we saw Just Folk just continue his wet track form with Hot Nash on. Converge was a nice return over the 1,800 metres, so you'd expect that horse heading towards a Q22 as well. You can have him, but it was a nice return.
Yeah, it was. And fascinating that, you know, he ran in a Kingsford Smith Cup last year, up on the rail, finished like 3rd or 4th or something, and then was very short in the market for the Stradbroke a couple of weeks later, and rightly so. Obviously didn't do anything there, but yeah, a year later he's running over 1,800 metres. He's by Frankel, and Frankel's progeny do it all. So
he ran in the 5 Diamonds last year, arguably unlucky, like looking through the comments of his form. So he was looking for a run straightening, and he was never really clear. Only beaten 2.5. So that's over 1,800 metres. The connections, the stable's probably gone, you know what? Our middle distance ranks are pretty dross. Like,
he's not a Group 1 star.
No, let's aim him towards the Winter Carnival. I think it's very astute training.
100% it is. 100% it is. Yeah, that Q22, interesting market this year.
It gave me a little bit of the Queensland Derby. Like, you had Tannhauser in the lead up and Autumn Angel, and I was like, sure, but that's why I went Navy King. I tried to find the alternative form line, and I was right, but just with the wrong one.
The wrong form line.
Yeah.
So, but I couldn't have possibly had Warmonger.
Yeah.
Personally. But,
now,
yeah.
Adelaide River.
Yes.
My God, what happened there? $4.60 he started. Massive go. We spent about 10 minutes on Wednesday going through his form. But we ultimately both said that there's no possible way you could bet on him.
Happy to watch him go around.
Yep. And
that ended up being the case.
I guess if he starts $10 in a Q22, like I could potentially get interested there, but I think he'd need to improve significantly, obviously. But also, he was ridden up the arse end. I thought he'd be leading.
Yeah, fascinating. Shock him over, who we're both really keen on.
Yeah,
he was flat, wasn't he?
He was disappointing. Like, he was beaten 5.5 lengths. I have to rewatch like for like where he was, but
I don't even think it's a pass mark.
No, I don't think so. And it was disappointing because, you know, he has, and that's where the caveat came from as well. It's like, The hardest grade he's been in is a benchmark 100, and it's like, and he brained him. Second up syndrome, 14 to 18. Like, I could kind of see that's where
First trip away, maybe?
first trip. Well, no, he raced in Sydney.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like they've done that. So I'm like, okay, he raced well there, but I think 14 to 18, second up syndrome, a little bit flat. All those things probably going against him, I'd say. And where the big step up in grade is probably something for me as a punter to go like, okay, if I see those patterns, like, you know, would have changed my mind to Just Folk? Absolutely not.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what they do with him, whether they just tip him out and bring him back for the spring, or they might as well have a throw at the stumps at the Q22. Like, well, you're going to get double figures for him now, so
that's it.
Probably worth a bet.
Absolutely. Broadsiding we've touched on. And then I guess the other one, was Chinny Boom. Nice win. She looked great in the yard.
She did, yeah.
She's been up forever. The horse that you probably do want to take out of it, and she won by 3.5 lengths, right? But often you see that with mares, it's like how much is left in the tank as well. It's like usually when they put them away like that, it's like, all right, chip them out, or at least I kind of think like that. Cool Valon, obviously we both gave her a massive push, me bigger than you, on Wednesday. Beaten 4.7 lengths, too far back, and her parade was not good.
It was dross.
She was bucking around. She was
fresh.
Very fresh. So I'd be fascinated to see what she looks like second up. Wonder where she kind of like, I know Mike Moroney's been targeting the Stradbroke for a while, but she's run out of options, unfortunately, with only that race being 2 weeks away.
Well, maybe you race her in that other race, the one that we're talking about for Freedom Rally. You race her there and then Tats Tiara.
Like, and in saying that, like, I think she ran well. Like, it was a pass mark for me.
Yeah. Well, she came home nicely. Yeah. She was too far back. She came home nicely. Yeah, pass mark. Yep. Yeah, don't jump off her.
No.
Where'd she end up running? Fourth, fifth?
Fourth, beating 4.7. So, and I think through the line she was like pretty good. But yeah, she was fresh, and compare that to her parade in Moonee Valley. Chalk and cheese.
Chalk and cheese.
But yeah, I think that's about it, mate.
Yeah, good day racing.
Yeah. Did you see what we'll end on? I'm on Royal Ascot watch.
Of course.
The King Charles III Stakes, which is now the new King's Stand, been renamed as Fora, has been confirmed.
Oof.
Ryan Moore to ride. So Mitch Aiken. Oh, no, not Ryan Moore. O'Shea Murphy. Apologies. Mitch Aiken, who's been over there, give him the boot.
Yeah, right. So bit of Aussie flavour, which is great.
Fantastic.
She can win.
1,000 metres. Key to her, I think, is a good track.
Yeah, she does not like the wet deck.
No. And she gave out. She'd be better second up, I'd say.
She ran, what, fourth? Yes, pass mark. Pass mark.
She's been like for 3 lengths or so, but yeah, so that'll be good for us to kind of have my eyes on us for her on the day.
That's good. Yeah. She's been kind to me, as for us, so.
Never really been one of mine, but
you got to support the Aussies.
I'll put the away jumper on for a day.
I'll always have a soft spot for her, thanks to her victory on Derby Day in the last. Yeah. Oh, best of the day.
The last on Derby Day has been kind to us.
Yes, it sure has been.
At times.
At times. All right, next week, the Oaks. Massive personal interest in the Oaks.
Congratulations to you, mate, for having a runner in the Queensland Oaks this year.
My pleasure, mate.
$3.20 favourite this.
Yeah. My silks as well, actually. Honestly. Oh, you got to laugh. But looking forward to that. We'll be there.
Yeah, we will. And that's only one next week. So, it'll be good.
Definitely.
All right. We'll see you Wednesday.
See you, Drifters.